I'm using the Pixel 10 Pro for the past couple of weeks, and here is my honest experience with it. First of all, I'm starting with the fact that Pixel 10 Pro is one of my most favorite Android phones nowadays in terms of comfort, in terms of design, and in terms of some of the features. Starting with the design, it's a very familiar one because it resembles almost one-to-one the iPhone 16 Pro. We have Gorilla Glass Victus 2 at the front and at the back also, and the back has a very nice matte finish, and there is also an aluminum frame, which, to be absolutely honest with you, feels incredible in the hand. The new thing here is the Pixel Snap, that is actually something like MagSafe but for Android phones, and you can use almost all kinds of accessories on it. You can use wallets, you can use car stands, you can use power banks and stuff like this. You can charge it wirelessly, and in my opinion this is something that is very welcomed in the community, and most of the people are going to benefit from such an addition. It comes in a few different colors. I have here the black one, and to be absolutely honest with you, I like it. I like how muted it is, I like the overall feel in the hand, but something that puzzled me very much are the buttons at the side, because these are strangely positioned. And why are they strangely positioned? Because the power button is above the volume rockers. Nonetheless, when you get the phone into your hand, everything is just intuitive. Your thumb just goes to the volume rockers, everything is easy to reach, and you do not have to stretch that much to be able to use the buttons, unlike in some other Android phones. Now let's move to one of my favorite parts of this phone, and this is the display. The Pixel 10 Pro comes with a 6.3-inch Super Actua LTPO OLED panel with variable refresh rate that goes from 1Hz to 120Hz. It's also insanely bright, peaking at 3300 nits, which means you can comfortably use it under harsh sunlight. Colors are vibrant but not oversaturated, and viewing angles are also excellent. I spent quite a time of watching content on this phone, from Instagram Reels and TikToks to full-on YouTube videos and movies, and honestly it's a joy for me. The HDR performance is also great, highlights pop without looking blown out, and the dark scenes retain plenty of detail. And if you're someone who enjoys to consume a lot of content on social media, or you are just watching some movies, streaming some shows and stuff like this, the display is going to keep you very happy. The 120Hz refresh rate makes everything look smooth, and I don't think that I have any complaints about the screen at all. Everything is fluid, the animations are also fluid, I like the widgets that are here, everything is just spot on, and in my opinion the screen is great. You also have amazing stereo speakers here, and to be honest with you, I like them very much. I like how they sound in music, also when watching movies, when watching YouTube videos. They're loud enough, they have enough richness, and everything with the speakers is on the good side in my opinion. These are not on the level of the iPhone 16 Pro or 16 Pro Max from what I've heard, but anyways, they're still good speakers. What I absolutely love though are the haptics. The feedback is sharp, it's precise, and it just makes the entire software experience feel more premium. Every tap, every swipe, every scroll is met with the right amount of subtle vibration, and honestly it's one of those small things that elevates the user experience in a way that most of the phones do not do it. Now let's talk about the hardware, because this is the controversial part here, and because this is an area where it's been a lot of discussion. The Pixel 10 Pro runs on the Tensor G5 chip, which is finally built on TSMC's 3nm process. This already gives a noticeable efficiency boost compared to the previous generation of Tensor chips, and you also get 12 gigs of RAM as standard, and storage options start from 128 gigs and goes up to 1 TB. Now here's the thing. If we are talking about raw benchmarks, the Tensor G5 simply does not match the Snapdragon 8 Elite or the Apple's A18 Pro. On paper, CPU and GPU scores are lower, and under sustained heavy load like gaming or rendering video, it can get noticeably warm. That's the reality, and it's something to keep in mind. But here's also the reality. In day-to-day use, the phone feels completely smooth. Opening apps, multitasking, switching between social media, and browsing and streaming, it all works without any hiccups at all. For gaming, performance is okay-ish, most of the titles run okay, but in heavier, more demanding games you notice an occasional frame drop or thermal throttling if you play for longer sessions. And yes, if you look at the benchmarks, the Pixel 10 Pro does not lead the pack, but as a complete package with its AI features and the symbiosis between the hardware and the software, it still delivers a very satisfying experience. And for me, that is what matters at the end of the day, the overall experience and not only the raw data. Of course, we can't talk about the Pixel without talking about the camera system. The Pixel 10 Pro comes with a triple camera setup at the back, a 50 megapixel main sensor, 48 megapixel ultra-wide and 48 megapixel 5x telephoto lens. This year the improvements aren't about adding new sensors or hardware stuff, they are about software and AI. You got telephoto macro photography, which lets you use the telephoto lens for close-up shots with good detail. There's also improved stabilization for the video, and the overall imaging processing feels more natural. The colors are more accurate, the skin tones look more realistic, and low light shots are impressive as always with the Pixel phones. The big headline feature here is the 100x Super ProRes zoom, and while 100x zoom sounds like a marketing gimmick, Google's AI processing actually makes those shots usable to a surprising level. There's a camera coach, which is really cool AI tool that helps you frame your shots better in real life, but I'm not so sure that I'm going to use it anyways. The main sensor of the Pixel 10 Pro, in my opinion, is okay, but is not something that is spectacular. It doesn't get on the level of the Honor Magic series, it doesn't get on the level of the iPhones from what I see, and it's not leading the pack in terms of the camera performance here. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad camera at all, the dynamic range is okay, the colors are nice, I like that there is much of a consistency between the main sensor and the ultra-wide sensor and the telephoto sensor. The 5x photos are looking great, the 100x are also usable. It's just the fact that it does not deliver one of the best cameras that we can see right now, keeping in mind that Google was a leader back in the days when they released the Pixels, and their cameras were actually very impressive. And now we don't have any hardware improvements here, we only have software improvements, we only have AI improvements, which in turn means that most of the companies are going towards this direction. In terms of the video, the Pixel 10 Pro does the job just okay. It's not something spectacular, it's not phenomenal in my opinion. It has a long way to go to get to the level of the iPhones, for example, or the Samsung S25 Ultra or something like this. Not one of the best videos, but I'll leave you a sample now so you can check it for yourself. And this is a video sample from the main camera of the Pixel 10 Pro, 4K 30 FPS. I don't think that this is one of the best cameras right now on the market, because the iPhone 16 Pro Max and the 17 Pro Max are on a whole another level from what we've seen with the 17 Pro Max. Also the S25 Ultra from Samsung and the video from the Pixel 10 Pro is a step behind them in my opinion. In terms of dynamic range, in terms of the overall quality, it's not one of the best that you can get right now, but for most of the users I think that it will be more than enough. And now we are switching to the ultra-wide camera to see how it goes there. The ultra-wide camera looks identical in terms of the colors. In terms of the stabilization, it is also nice. It has 123 degrees of field of view, so this is a pretty wide camera, and I think that most of the people are going to be pleased if they are looking for a nice ultra-wide camera. I really like the consistency in terms of the colors, in terms of the image quality, and overall, don't get me wrong, this is not a bad camera phone. It is not one of the best, but it is not bad at all. So for most people it will be absolutely plenty. And now we're switching to the front camera. And this is the front camera of the Pixel 10 Pro. Again, 4K 30 FPS, and from what I see, the dynamic range is okay-ish, because the shadows are a little bit darker from what I'm used to seeing into the flagship segment. But anyways, I think that, again, for most of the people, it will be plenty. Battery life has been a mixed bag for me, because the Pixel 10 Pro comes with a 4870 mAh battery, which on paper is fine, but in practice it's not the absolute best out there. In moderate use, I can say that comfortably I can get through a full day, but if I push it a bit more, the camera use, social media and some gaming, sometimes I find myself reaching for the charger by the evening. The charging speeds are decent, but also not groundbreaking. You get 30 watt wire charging and 15 watts wireless charging using the new Pixel Snap magnetic system. If you're coming for something like a OnePlus or Xiaomi flagship, you definitely notice the slower pace here. Overall, the battery gets the job done, but I can't say that it's a standout feature. It's serviceable, but it leaves me wishing Google would push just a little further in this department. And now we come to what I think is the most exciting part of the phone, and this is the software and the AI experience. The Pixel 10 Pro runs Android 16 straight out of the box with Google's refined Material You interface. It looks clean, it feels fluid, and the customization options let you make it truly your own with amazing widgets and overall with great personalization. But what makes it special is how the AI is integrated into the everyday experience. And to be absolutely honest with you, I would just make some of the AI here, because I haven't been able to test all of it, because in my region almost nothing is working. First is the Magic Q. This is a contextual assistant that shows you relevant information right when you need it. So for example, if you're writing an email about a meeting, it might surface details from your calendar without having to look them up. It all happens in the device, so it's private and it feels genuinely helpful instead of gimmicky, or at least that's what they said. There's the camera coach, which I already mentioned, and editing features like Best Take, where the phone automatically swaps faces from different group photos so everyone looks at their best or at least not sleeping, or Add Me, which helps you insert yourself into the photo when you're the one that is taking the shot. Another feature that I would have found useful if it was working for my region is Ask Photos, which lets you search for your photo library using simple language. So you just prompt to Google Gemini, for example, hey, show me an image from my trip to London 3 years ago, and it will show you the image. And of course, Google's real-time translations and transcription tools are better than ever. They're way improved, they're working, they work in different languages, and also live captions, call recording, it just works. And it works quickly thanks to the device onboard AI. Honestly, to me, this is what the Pixel 10 Pro stands out with. It's not just a phone with a nice camera and a good screen, it's a phone that actively helps you, or at least tries to help you, with finding ways throughout the day. The thing that is working very well though is the Google Gemini assistant, and I think that it is refined, it works faster, it works better, and I'm using it daily. So what does this leave us with the Pixel 10 Pro? Well, on the positive side, you get a fantastic design with a premium build quality, a gorgeous display that is bright, vibrant, the haptics are amazing, they make every interaction satisfying, a camera system that is, let's say, consistently reliable, and AI features that genuinely feel useful if they were working. On the flip side, you've got performance that, while perfectly fine in real-world use, it doesn't lead the benchmarks. Battery life that's solid but not class-leading, and charging that is on the slower side compared to some other competitors. For me, the Pixel 10 Pro isn't about being the fastest phone or the one with the biggest numbers, it's about the experience, the way hardware and software come together to feel effortless, to feel smooth. It's about the AI features that actually will save you some time if they're working. It's about the phone that feels premium, enjoyable to use day to day, and if you're someone who values that kind of experience, and especially if you're already into the Google ecosystem, the Pixel 10 Pro is a phone I can easily recommend. It might not be perfect, but it's smart, it's reliable, and it's one of the most enjoyable Android phones that I've used this year. So guys, at the end of the video, I want to ask you, what do you think about the Pixel 10 Pro? Do you like it? Do you feel that it is a phone worth buying? Write it down below, I'm very curious to see other people's opinion. So thank you for watching this video, I hope you like it, I hope you find it useful. If it is like so, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, don't forget to ring the bell icon, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.